My name is Joyce Meadows, and I am from Flat Gap in Johnson County. I work with 3 to 5 year olds in Head Start. I have been working with these children for 20 years. And what I have been trying to do is bring up our numbers in our math program. So we are trying with exciting adventures of kindergarten readiness with Tiggly and Osmo. And how do you work this thing? Nope.
The arrow that goes over.
Okay. There we go. The purpose of this grant is to help Head Start students to achieve kindergarten readiness, with nearly half of the kindergarten students in Kentucky not considered kindergarten ready, with skills needed to build a foundation for learning. The action research for this grant addressed the impact that students' engagement has had on Head Start students as they began to acquire the foundation, learning mathematical skills such as recognition, problem solving, and shape recognition. With this grant, I purchased 3 sets of Osmo manipulative kits, 3 sets of Tiggly Learner kits, and 3 sets of Osmo Pizza Company games to use with the iPads that I have in my classroom. This is the Osmo's manipulative. This, you have to have a camera and you place the objects in front of the iPads for it to work. This is the pizza kit. It's like you're setting up your own pizza shop. And this is the Tiggly Math. This works with shapes. It helps with math, like your addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. This is a little boy, Xavier. He's working with the Osmo Tangram. The game Tangram has been around for almost 1,000 years, but Osmos reinvented this classic using a fully interactive video experience with visuals and audio feedback, multiple levels of difficulty, achievements, and more. Osmos Numbers makes math fun and engagement. Arrange physical tiles, including dots and digits, to make numbers and complete levels. Add by putting more tiles, subtracting by removing tiles, and multiplying by connecting tiles together. Experimenting becomes fast and intuitive. This little boy, we have these tiles just to play with in our classrooms. If I took them and just placed a model or a picture for him to do to make these shapes into that picture, he would get distracted with all the other things the kids were doing in classroom. With this, it shows him that it's not that he's not doing it right, but it shows him the way to do it, to place the tiles. And he has to problem solve to get to that picture, to make it look like that picture. This child sat there for almost the whole playtime and to figure out how to do that. And once you figure out how to do it and you make it look like it's supposed to, it's like an explosion on the screen. If I was to tell him, "You done a good job, that was great," he says, "Okay." But when it shows you that you've done a great job, he just loved it. And he wanted to continue to play with it. They asked me to play with it every single day. This is Mila, and she is working on the Tiggly shapes. And with this, you can make animals, make objects out of it. And you get to guess what kind of animal you're making. And you take these tiles and you place them on the shape that it matches. And it will tell you what shape it is. But then you have to guess what kind of animal it is. And they had a really good time with this. With this one, I had children. I had a video, but I couldn't download it for some reason. But when she was playing this, there was another little girl that came over and tried to help her. And they were interacting together to try to fix this. This is Josie, and she's working with the Osmos Numbers. And what you do here is it'll give you a number, like the number 6. And you place the tiles. So she had to count out how many tiles there was, and put it under there. And you had to place it under the camera. When she did this, and if she had too many tiles, it will tell you. And then you take those tiles away, and she has to count those to match it. And it helps her to recognize that number, plus to learn how to count that many. This is the Osmo Pizza Kit. And what this is, it cooks up math, money, and fraction skills by running your very own pizza shop. Trains addition, subtraction, fraction skills. This game adjusts to the child's ability. You run, grow a business, save profits to invest, upgrade your shop. This is Jonathan, and he was working with this kit. He was one of my older students. He could work this. He even wanted to do the money part of it. And I had a younger child do this, and he couldn't get the concept that you had to place the pizza in front of the camera, and the person orders what he wants on that pizza. And you have to, like, it'll say 3 sausages. You have to count out that many sausages to put on there. Then you slide it, and it's like it goes up into the oven and bakes. And the customer will tell you whether he's satisfied or not. And then, like, if the pizza costs $7, they'll have to count to see how much money, how much change they have to give. And he really enjoyed this game. The research shows that a child using an educational program such as Osmos and Tiggly on an iPad versus the traditional way of counting, recognizing their numbers and learning their shapes is more learner engaging and collaboration. While on iPads, I had children taking turns, helping each other, and becoming more engaged than they would be with the traditional ways of working with numbers. I implemented these iPads during free play. I set them up on a table, and the children choose this as one of their centers of play. I had 3 iPads, and I used 3 different programs. Each child stayed on their iPads concentrating on what they were doing and not what on the other children were doing. With the traditional way of counting, using objects, the children are trying to see who has the most or are trying to get into each other's space. Or they're looking around the room thinking, I would rather be doing something else than what I'm doing right now. But with the iPads and these programs, they really stayed engaged and it involved more children. I chose the strategies that I did because not only are the children that are engaged on the iPads learning a more effective way of learning their numbers, recognitions, and their shapes, but other children are becoming engaged by helping them. This shows that they are all collaborating with other children. I did a pre-test in the fall, then a post-test in the winter, using teaching strategies, goals, objectives, using number concepts, counts, and connects numerals with quantities. I also used the objectives, explore and describe spatial relations and shapes. I took the results from the fall and the winter to see the difference between using Osmos numbers, Osmos Pizza Company kit, and the Tiggly shapes with the iPad and the traditional ways of counting, recognizing their numbers. The winter results were much higher and had shown that the children had come up in counting, recognizing their numbers and their shapes from the fall checkpoints. This is Mila, Xavier, Josie, and Jonathan really enjoyed playing with Osmos and Tiggly kids. These programs really help the children to learn and become more engaged than the traditional ways of learning numbers. I wish my videos had downloaded because I had a little girl, it's her twin sister, that loves to do the Osmos with the counting. And when it would, like the bombs would burst or the balloons would burst and say congratulations, she would go, yes! And it was much more exciting to her to see that than me look at her and say, you done a great job, and try to encourage her. But she really enjoyed that. Is there any questions?